Back in 2013, James Wan blessed us with The Conjuring, a film that became an instant hit, receiving praise from critics and viewers alike. However, little did we know at the time that it would result in an entire universe being created around the infamous Ed and Lorraine Warren. So today on Top 5 Scary Videos, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 5 Scary Conjuring Verse movies. Before we begin though, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. And with that, let's jump in. In at number 5 we have The Curse of La Llorona. Now apparently I'm not in the know on a lot of things because I've seen this movie and I did not realize during the entire time I was watching it that it existed in the same universe as The Conjuring. I'm still shook about it. Anyway, The Curse of La Llorona is a 2019 supernatural horror film directed by Michael Chavez and is the 6th installment in the Conjuring universe franchise. Based on the Latin American folklore of La Llorona, the film stars Linda Cardellini and follows a mother in 1973 Los Angeles, who must save her children from a malevolent spirit who's trying to steal them. The movie grossed around $54.7 million in the United States and Canada, with it holding the very low approval rating of 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, with the general consensus reading, "Content to coast on jump scares rather than tap into its story's potential, The Curse of La Llorona arrives in theaters already broken." Straight savagery, but honestly accurate. The movie was not memorable in the slightest, and honestly there aren't any key moments that I remember from this film. This movie had the opportunity to really take a look at the underrepresented Hispanic folklore, but it fell flat and it fell hard, turning itself into a formulaic ghost movie. Ultimately the film does nothing new and only manages to deliver a few mild jump scares that really don't stick out, which is why it is number 5 on our list. Coming in at number 4 we have Annabelle Creation. Annabelle Creation is a 2017 supernatural horror film directed by David F. Sandberg and is the prequel to the 2014 Annabelle and the 4th installment in the Conjuring universe franchise. The film follows Samuel and Elle, who embed their daughter's spirit into a doll only to realize it is a demon. Years later they open their home to a nun and 6 orphan girls, one of whom finds the doll. Now in comparison to its predecessor, Annabelle Creation is a massive improvement and quickly reaffirms that the Conjuring series hasn't lost its thrill. Now although some tense moments end up falling flat, there are some genuinely terrifying and sadistic moments in this movie, topped off with an even scarier demon. The film grossed $102.1 million in the United States and Canada, with it also receiving a 71% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with the general consensus reading, "Annabelle Creation adds another strong chapter to the Conjuring franchise and offers further proof that freaky looking dolls remain reliably terrifying." Preach. Coming in at number 3 we have Annabelle Comes Home. Annabelle Comes Home is a 2019 supernatural horror film directed by Gary Doberman and serves as a sequel to 2014's Annabelle and 2017's Annabelle Creation. It is also the 7th installment in the Conjuring universe franchise. Now Annabelle Comes Home serves as a prequel to the events of the first Conjuring movie. Determined to keep Annabelle from wreaking more havoc, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren lock the possessed doll in the artifacts room in their house. But when the doll awakens the room's evil spirits, it soon becomes an unholy night of terror for the couple's 10-year-old daughter, her friends, and their young babysitter. Now while some say this is up there as one of the best Conjuring universe movies, it is also one of the more boring ones, which is a shame considering how intense and exciting it was meant to be. A slew of wacky demons running loose and terrorizing the Warren household sounds incredible, but sadly it was underwhelming. With a few exceptions, the demons aren't that special or scary, with only a few of them standing out against the more terrifying demons from previous movies. The film went on to gross $74.2 million in the United States and Canada, with it also receiving a 65% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with the consensus reading, "Fun for fans even if it isn't as frightening as some of its predecessors. Annabelle Comes Home suggests there's still some life left in the Conjuring franchise." Coming in at number 2 we have The Conjuring 2. The sequel to the 2013 Conjuring, The Conjuring 2, released back in 2016 and directed by James Wan, sees the return of Ed and Lorraine Warren as they travel to Britain to assist the Hodgson family, who are experiencing poltergeist activity at their Enfield council house in 1977. To this day, The Conjuring 2 is one of the best received films in the Conjuring series, and that's saying something. First and foremost, the switch in location already adds a sense of unease, with the classic British 70s aesthetic making things feel dreary dreary and uncomfortable. Not to mention this story is a classic in the UK, as Brits grew up on the legend of the Enfield poltergeist. It was the claim of supernatural activity between 1977 and 1979, involving two sisters aged 11 and 13. Some members of the Society for Psychic Research, such as inventor Maurice Grosse and writer Guy Leon Playfair, believed the haunting to be genuine, while others such as Anita Gregory and John Beloff were unconvinced, even finding evidence of the girls having faked certain incidents. Regardless of whether you believe the story or not, most don't, the film was still expertly executed and had some genuinely terrifying moments, including the scene with the crooked man. That will honestly haunt me for a long time. The movie grossed $102.5 million in the United States and Canada and garnered an approval rating of 81%, with the general consensus reading, The Conjuring 2 can't help but lose a bit of its predecessor's chilly sting through familiarity, but what remains is still a superior ghost story told with spine-tingling skill. And finally, coming in at number 1, we have The Conjuring. Released back in 2013 and directed by James Wan, The Conjuring is a supernatural horror movie and the inaugural film in the Conjuring universe franchise. The movie stars Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as Ed and Lorraine Warren, paranormal investigators and authors associated with prominent cases of hauntings. The film itself centers on the Warrens, who come to the assistance of the Perron family, who experience increasingly disturbing events in their farmhouse in Rhode Island back in 1971. The movie is of course number 1 on our list simply because it is the film that started it all. Not to mention, for a paranormal movie, it is a believable movie. The film forces us to watch them do the legwork just in order to get an exorcism approved. We watch Ed and Lorraine Warren conduct research, set up and monitor equipment, and work with the local police in order to get to the bottom of the supposed haunting and possession of the Perron family. What makes the film so effective is its ability to build atmosphere, and it does this through its underrated scares. From the mother playing hide and clap with a ghost, to the sleepwalking daughter, to something lurking in the shadows behind a door. Every moment of this movie is calculated to perfection, expertly timed and highly unnerving. Not only does it terrify you, but it also elicits an intense emotional reaction. We don't just fear what is going on, but we also sympathize with the family who are suffering through this demonic possession. Not to mention the minimal CGI used throughout the film is also done expertly, proving to audiences that yes, sometimes less is more. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film garnered an 85% approval rating, with the general consensus reading, well crafted and gleefully creepy, The Conjuring ratchets up dread through a series of effective old school scares. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Are there any Conjuring Verse movies that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and let me know which Conjuring Verse movie is your favourite. Mine is The Conjuring, or The Conjuring 2. I hate Annabelle. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos, top 5 horror movie sequels better than the original. Gina Baratelli said, "Welcome to Prime Time is my all-time favourite movie line." Ain't that the truth? It's iconic. No One said, "Wow, I may like Lucy now after all this time. Dream Warrior was one of the best of the series. Epic theme song by Dokken 2. Couldn't agree more, and I'm glad you finally like me after all this time. Danny D said, "Thank you Lucy for being unapologetically cool. This is my list, I don't care." Yeah, that's usually what I have to say before every list, because I know you will care. But thank you for appreciating the lack of care coming from me. Rebecca Smith said, "Your bloopers are hysterical on this one. I'm going through early menopause had me cracking up. Honestly, a lot of the time I never know what the editors are going to include, so thank you to them for keeping in my menopause joke." I wasn't joking. I have the fear. I'm hot right now. The Mad Husher said, "Who else's day is not made until you watch the Pale Goddess in a new video each day?" Well, thank you, Mad Husher. I appreciate that, but you might be alone in those sentiments. But to each their own. Jacques Morgan said, "Lucy, you were spot on with this list. Thank you for your approval. I needed that to get through my day." And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. And until next time, I'll see you later. The general consensus reading: content to coast on jump scares rather than the tap into it. Content to coast on jump scares rather than tap into its story potential. Whoa, okay. Annabelle Creation adds another strong chapter. Annabelle Creation adds another strong chapter. Annabelle Creation adds another strong chap. Oh my god. You got it. I'm just gonna go home. With it also receiving 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. With it also receiving 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. With the sick of 65%? Oh, it is. What did I say? 75.